So as many of you may already know, those of you who watch my videos regularly, as you should be, this is the Big Sick right now. Big Six is sick. Yeah. Appears to be a bad alternator. To reiterate the story quickly, Lexmark's 567 was over for the 4th of July. We needed to get some parts at Home Depot. So we did. Also needed a propane exchange. I used to get the tanks refilled, but it doesn't pay to do that anymore because I don't grill anywhere near as much as I used to. And because of that, I just get the tanks exchanged. The tanks expire before I need, replacement, propane. So they last a while, but I was out and I need it. And I get to the register and the lady there is like, "Oh no, we don't have propane." I'm like, what do you mean? You're the home, how do you not have propane? "Oh, you can check tomorrow." Right, yeah, that's gonna work. So on the way home, we stopped at another depot, and fortunately they had it. Unfortunately, on the way, I got to a traffic light. I'm sitting there, light goes green. I go to step on the gas, and I get a message up on the little display panel there that says check VSC system. I get the skidding out of control car light up. Also check engine light up. Wonderful. This is great news. I wasn't that concerned about all of the lights and that because I know when there's a problem like that, it goes and disables and posts codes for everything. Will you get off of my meter? So it does all that, but I had to see what the problem was. We get back home, and it's funny because I kind of foreshadowed this was going to happen. To the point where when we went to originally leave from the house, I said to Lex, "All right, we'll see if the car will start. The battery has been kind of low and I don't drive it much, so that certainly doesn't help anything." But yeah, indeed, it did start and everything was good. I've also been getting the same check VSC system message on startup, first start of the day, for quite some time now, and it goes out after a second and everything's fine. But this time it came on while driving, not normal. We get back to the house. I hooked my battery tester up to the car, and it says the battery's low and not looking too hot. I said, all right. I mean, I kind of knew that, and I somewhat sort of decided to try the alternator test on that. And it said the alternator was only putting out 13.2 volts. That's not right. That should be like 14, maybe 14.1, 13.9, somewhere in there. Nope. Absolutely not. It had no part of that. It was 13.2, and that's all it was putting out. 13.2 is low. It's not necessarily out of the realm of bad, but for all intents and purposes, that ain't enough. It's a 12 volt battery. You got to charge it a little bit more than that. That's why it's typically around 14. So I figured that chances are very good. All the lights in that came on because the battery was not in great condition because it wasn't being charged well, and the alternator isn't putting out good voltage either. And Lex had a meter with him. We checked with that. It also read 13.2. We're going to test it with this meter after we test it with the battery meter. What I did last night, well, first of all, what I did is I ordered a replacement alternator. Found a DENSO, which is the OEM brand for Toyota. DENSO remanufactured one. You can't touch brand new ones. They're just $700-800. Sometimes even double that, but there's plenty of reman ones out there, so that's what you're going to have to go with if you have any sense of price. And even that wasn't cheap, but I got one. It looked good. In fact, I'll show it to you. Just showed up 10 minutes ago. Looks like absolutely brand new, very nice shape, pulleys in good shape, all of that. It's all there. Belt I have as well. I got a new belt because while you're doing it, might as well. It's got 90,000 on it and it squeaks. So what I did last night is I put my magic charger on the battery. As a quick aside, here's Ginger, and the reason I bring this up is because related to battery and all that, just yesterday XJO81X was stuck with a dead battery, and I had to go and come to the rescue for not only battery but gas as well. Anyways, long and short of the story is my car is dead, so I had to take Ginger, and the whip drives this every day now because the 2000 Camry was destroyed in that accident. So this links to all this great shit in the prescription. Anyhow, I take this out and I go and I look at that, and I also brought my fancy Panther scan tool that looks like a tablet kind over to Joe's to see if there were any squirrely codes listed, and yeah, there were a couple, nothing to speak of. Everything was fine after the dead battery. But I roll up in front of the house and I said, well, while I have it, you know, I never use this scan tool on this car. I know it's an 03 and it's not really going to have that much information, but let's see if it could, you know, pull anything up there. And it does have a check engine light. We went through that in a previous ordeal. But anyway, that was that. So I hooked the scan tool up and it reads out the codes that it had. I said, okay, yeah, clear codes, whatever. And that's all good. I exit the scan tool properly. It says make sure you unplug and take the connector with you. And I did all of that. Everything's all set. And I said, okay, let me just twist the key and make sure that the light indeed is out. It's just something I do. So I turn the key and it just goes crank, 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 crank. Won't start. I had a video a long time ago on this scan tool destroyed my car. Yeah, they didn't write the software properly on that one, and it left the car in some sort of inconsistent state, and the fucking thing wouldn't start. It was perfect before I plugged it in, and now after doing that, it wouldn't start. Fortunately, all I had to do is just take the key out, put it back in, and it cranked right up just fine. So maybe it messed with the immobilizer, engine immobilizer system or something like that. That's all I'm thinking, but still, that was scary to have the car go from perfectly working to completely dead, and all you did was plug in a scan tool. I am really scared of them now. Anyway, back to the big sick. So I got out my best battery tester, and I hooked it up before charging, and this was the result. I'll just read it off to you. 11.99 volts. Tad low, but look at that, battery energy 0%, set value 750, current 505, life 45%, recharge and try. After charging last night, late last night, 12.8, way better. Battery energy 100%, 750, 617, and 67% life. So that's better. So what I want to see now first is what this says now after just sitting overnight. So we'll put that on and put this on. I'm not going to bother printing it, I'll just read it out. Battery test, regular flooded, cold cranking amps, 750, 12.58 volts, 630 cold cranking amps, 96% battery energy, life 70%. Okay, that's all good. So the battery held-ish overnight. There's a cranking test and a charging test and a load test. I mean, we could. This is going to be the first time that I'm starting the car in about 8 or 9 days. So we'll go to charging test here. Let's see. And it says start the engine and wait 15 seconds. Here we go. besides the exhaust leak, that crank's perfectly normal. Yeah. I figured that was going to happen. Current voltage, 14 volts. Yeah, 13.9, 14.1, anywhere in there. That's exactly what I figured it was going to do. Just to screw me over, I figured that was exactly what it was going to do. Holy shit, now what? Right? I had a feeling. I thought about this last night. So let's go to the load test. And it says turn stuff on, wait 15 seconds. So I got all the lights on, blower's running, AC is on, radiator fans running. Car says everything's okay on the panel. Press OK. And now we're at 13.7, 13.8. Yeah, 13.7. That's not bad. I kind of figured this was going to happen. So why was the alternator not really charging? Was it just that the battery was such shit? I don't know. Let me see if I get this meter to work. China didn't send this, I bought it. It's on auto, it may just work. $13.7. Okay, let me shut off the accessories. You can tell just by the exhaust change. 13.8. 13.8 is okay. 13.81. I'm baffled. That's weird. All the signs pointing to bad alternator, and I went and I even got one. Yeah. Do I send it back? Probably. I don't know. I got to drive the car around and find out, see how it does. Well, that's kind of an interesting idea. We can do that. Let's see what this reads again, just on the charging test. $13.7, $13.8, yeah. Now there's a load test. Did I do that one? Yeah, I mean it's still 13.7, but I'm seeing it dip a little bit. So let me, I'll tell you what, let's go back into that. And I'm gonna leave it there and I'll let it run for 10 minutes or so. Alright, I'm confused. I had all the accessories on, all that great stuff. I put it in reverse, stood on the brake, and it did get down to 13.27. But even after I took it out of that, and remember this is all at idle, it's reading 13.4. Let's see what this meter says. 13.4 all day. That certainly is better than 13.2. I don't know now. It's very, very strange. Does it regulate the voltage down because the battery is charged up? Why was it doing that before when the battery was down? Wouldn't it know to, you know, increase voltage and all that? Am I dealing with just a weak alternator? By the way, never did get an alternator light. Come on. I think we'll run another battery test on that. So let me stop the engine. And we were at like 96% and all that, 100%, one of those. So anyway, where are we? Battery test. We'll go back to that. Regular flooded, old cranking, 750. Putting out 664. Battery energy is now down to 63. Interesting. And life is 71%. What does that mean? I can't read it. 78%. So the battery's saying it's okay. After stopping the engine, I turned the key back on, the ignition, okay? I turned the ignition back on, and indeed there's an alternator light, which is supposed to be on now because engine's not running. Real meter test, 12.34. Meter here, 12.38. $12.32 now. 12.31. Start it back up and see what it reads. I don't know. This is very peculiar. Crank was completely normal. Charging test. Yeah, it's kind of not wonderful. $13.3. Now again, the battery is topped up. You know, and if the battery was really low, was it from the lack of use that the car gets and the short trips that I generally make? I mean, once a week I might take the car 30 miles. Once every other week, something like that. But other than that, it's very quick in-town stuff, 6-8 miles at the most. I'm confused. Very confused. Okay, I think we're going to see what Ginger does because I'm totally confused. That was nice. A neighbor lady just came by and said, we're having a party later. If you want to stop by. I don't know. I'll think about it. So let's do a test on Ginger and see what she reads. What kind of 650 cold crank amps on this one? So battery test, regular flooded, CCA 6. Whoa. Yeah, I screwed that up. Okay, let's try that again. 650. Good. Current 505. Reasonable. Battery energy 96%. Life 60%. Reasonably good. Okay, so now we'll do a cold start on Ginger. Been a while, right? All right. Charging test. Wait 15 seconds. All right. Clean the leaves from under the hood while we're waiting. All right. $14.1. Let's get the meter. It certainly agrees. Put on some accessories. This one reads, still about 14. So it might be a weak alternator. Yeah, 1407, 1408. Very interesting. I saw the Big 6 running, and I just checked that, and it was 13.37. Oh, this cracked. That's good. It's petrified. Oh well. Totally confused. Totally confusing. Yeah, that's really odd. Okay. Alright, 13.9, so it's come down. You know, it's still got to idle down and warm up in that. 13.94. AC is chooching, lights are on. Are they? Yeah, they are. tell the way the sun is coming in. Not that there's much. Radiator fans running, all that stuff. Alright, so we'll let this warm up. Boy, she's still purring like a lion and a mollusk. Listen to that. Under full electrical load. Not too bad. So let's see what the meter reads now. It's not even up to temperature yet. It's going to be a little while, I guess. Upper radiator hose. It's hot over here. Top of the radiator. Cold. Didn't open yet. So 13.7, a pretty solid somewhere in the 13.7 range. Real meter reading. 13.78. 13.77. 13.78. Yeah. I guess. I don't know. I'll let it run for a while. Upper radiator hose is certainly hot now. Running full electrical load. 14.3 to 14.4. Okay, I guess we learned something. I'm an idiot. Pardon. Let's hook the real meter up and see what that reads. Probably very similar as it has the whole time. It's like, oh, actually it's even down now because the radiator fans are running full chooch. We're reading 12.5. Let's wait for them to shut. Oh, in fact, I'll hook this up while it's doing it. Yeah, 12.4. Radiator fans are high speed. Let's just wait this out. Because 12 is not good, but with all the additional load and an idle, it should come up once the fans slow down. Yeah, she's reading like 12.2. Wow. On both meters. But again, we got a huge electrical load and no RPM in it. I mean, you're just idling. You should be able to slow down. Come on, guys. I'm making a video. Oh yeah, nobody ever cares. One of the meters got angry. Still 12.2, still high-speed fan. Wow. That's kind of interesting. All right, well, wait a minute. Everything's good inside. Wow, this is an interesting turn of events. I want to see this go back to 13 when... There, okay, that just shut. Put that meter back. This is now reading... Huh, interesting, 12.5.
So it probably needs some RPM to get back up where it needs to be. Drive it a little bit. I think this shows the minimum. It showed 12.11 as the minimum at one point. It's reading 12.5. We'll go into it again. Still 12.5. Let me rev it. Well, I don't know. It's not going to show maximum, is it? Does it? It does. So that was about 2,000 RPM. And oh yeah, that went up to 13.62. So that's good. So now we need to do that on the Big 6, which has been idling the whole time. So let's shut this down. All right, we're learning. Not bad. We have some important information. Fancy fucking test equipment and all this crazy shit. What happened to the old cars we used to work on things? It's all run by computer, that's why. No, it has nothing to do with that. This is just a simple alternator charging circuit. You needed the same meter for that. Charging test. Yeah, right, got all that. Yeah, 13.2. I'm waiting for this to finish its thing. So 13.2. 13.27. Okay. Let's run this up now. Maximum is 13.32. Let's see if it changes. Remember, we're still at full electrical load. Well, it went to 13.35. That doesn't give me any good information. I don't know. 13.29. Let's kill all the accessories now. We'll hit that and then maybe give it some revs again. 13.36. gas has been on the windshield and the wind wouldn't even take it off. Alright, 1349 with no accessories and running at typical, you know, driving RPM. So no cause for concern. It was just a low fucking battery the whole time. That pretty much cements it for me. I guess the combination of short trips and barely driving it, plus shitty AutoZone batteries, you know, never last. Certainly didn't, right? Battery's 3 years old. According to the meter, it's still good. No complaints on the dash. Everything's perfectly fine. I don't know. That's really odd. Ha. Absolutely awesome. All right, so I think the best course of action at this point, you know, it's funny, in the previous videos that I mentioned the car in, I left a link in the description of at least one of them. That was a video I did back in, I'm trying to remember, oh yeah, December 27, 2024. We're in July 12, 13, 2025. Okay, so 6 months, roughly, a little over 6 months. And the name of that video was, "This video is going nowhere fast." And in that video, I got my tester out, and it wouldn't print because it was so cold out. And I hooked the battery charger up to it, and I didn't leave it all day. I only left it for like 4 hours or so, something like that. And everything was fine up until this point. So I guess I just got to put the charger on this thing every 4 months, unless I start driving more. Well, now I have an alternator I don't really need. That's interesting. And a belt I don't really need. Should I hold on to it for the one day? What would be smart is to look at, in fact, there's a couple things I could do with it. First thing is to see if Ginger takes the same one. Probably not. Not sure on that. But XJO81X has a 2010. That's a guaranteed exact same alternator. And his Highlander also might very well take the very same alternator. So I can hold on to it, and it's years apart in case we need it. Yeah, I got nothing more. That's really it. I guess just for shits and grins, we'll test this one more time just to see what that says. 1335. Let's shut the engine. $12.8, $12.85. Yeah, that's right on. Do a battery test on this one more time. $7.50. This one. Battery energy 99%, life 70%, 12.75 volts. Okay, case closed. Nothing wrong with the car. That pretty much cements it for me. Does anybody have any insight? Because we saw, while not an identical car, a very similar car. The charging system is probably designed and engineered in a very similar fashion. That's a good one. So based on everything I see, we were just dealing with a really low battery and it was still just enough to get the car running, and the alternator kind of held it on, but the voltage just got too low. That's without driving the car, of course. I'm not going to drive it now. I should, but I don't feel like it. Because all the numbers and all the testing, to me, seems good. We had very similar results. What were we reading on that? 13, after the fan shut off on Ginger? 13 something, 13 kind of low, maybe 13.5 was it that it went back up to? 13.6? Not high, not low, it's kind of just there. But we were pulling 14 volts out of this thing right when it started up. Definitely, without a question. So I'm banking on it was just a low fucking battery, and it just was too low, and the alternator just didn't want to play with all of the additional electrical load, which was the AC and a hot day, and it's running at a zillion degrees and all that. I got nothing more on that. So I'm going to put the charger back on this and leave that all day, and I'll let you know. I had no idea that this video was going to go on so long, but I certainly gained a lot of insight. I hope you have as well. And that will probably help no one, but at least you got to watch things. And hear the cars start and run, things like that. So we did that. Okay, good. So I think we're just going to leave it there. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click subscribe. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.